Well, hello there, and welcome to another edition of Thought for the Week. Always a joy to share with you, and always a joy when I hear from some of you, because some of you do contact me to say that you've really been blessed, and that is such an encouragement. Thank you for that. We're all encouraged, though, when we look at the New Testament to see what the church is truly meant to be like. It's the book of Acts that makes it clear, but for some of us, it makes it a bit too clear because we discover that there are so many things that we get up to which simply don't appear in the early church, and so many things they got up to which we're not doing at all. So, both ways, it can be discouraging. But then, as we come to the word and are so conscious that the Lord wants to speak to us, we can rejoice because he's showing us the way forward. Back to Acts, you might say. Yes, indeed, that's how it should be. Well, we're looking at this astonishing book, and we've been discovering that as the disciples were faithful to the Lord and began to preach the gospel and heal the sick, things became rather difficult for them because of official religion. The Jewish leaders, the members of the Sanhedrin, took great exception to the fact that the disciples were preaching about Jesus and preaching in his name and declaring his victory and seeing healings taking place. It was simply too much for the Sanhedrin. They were very jealous. They knew they should be doing it themselves, but they were not doing it. They simply didn't have the relationship with God that enabled them to do it. So they became jealous, but more than that, they became very envious. And when envy takes over, we can become quite venomous with the people we are envious of. And this certainly was the case here, a case in point. The disciples had been jailed, and they were then released through the ministrations of an angel. How wonderful. But then the apostles were arrested once more, and they were accused. Verse 28, we gave you strict orders not to teach in this name, yet you filled Jerusalem with your doctrine and are determined to make us guilty of this man's blood. Well, what were Peter and the others to make of that? Well, we're told in Acts 5, verse 29, Peter and the other apostles replied, we must obey God rather than men. Now, that's a statement and a half, isn't it? We must obey God rather than men. We're not unfamiliar with that challenge. In fact, many of us are challenged with it right at this time. All kinds of legislation is being brought into our society, which impacts our churches. We're being told not to meet together in some cases. We're told to wear masks and to avoid each other as much as possible. And this is in direct challenge to what the Lord tells us in his word, because he says, do not neglect to meet together, and all the more as you see the day approaching. Now, we believe we're in the last days. So meeting one another to be in fellowship with one another is absolutely essential. But it could bring us into conflict with the government. What do we do then? Now, there's a searching question. I can't provide you with the answer, but the Lord can, and he can show us how to live in this testing situation. Have you thought of seeking him, asking him how to proceed? Well, all I can do is to encourage you to do that, because the Lord is the God who speaks, and he leads us into all truth, his truth. Let's see if we can discover it this week, shall we? As we seek to serve him and live our lives for the blessing of other people. The Lord bless you this week then. Bye-bye for now.